Hello again out there in the podcast world. Once again, you've reached the blind tag. And we know we're a little late this week, but we're going to try to make it up to you by doing the pay-per-view and fit in 2 Raws for you if we can. Once again, you're here with Big Dick Gideon, along with 2 members of the Fallen Angels. I got Dante.
Hello.
And I got Krim.
Hiya.
And like I said, we're sorry we're a little late this week, but that's okay. You know, we had a lot going on.
Better late than never.
Exactly. Exactly. We had Mother's Day and everything like that, and hopefully everybody had a great Mother's Day. But we're going to go ahead and jump in first, just to get our picks out of the way. And
Picks?
Yeah, picks.
Picks for what? We picking basketball?
No, we're picking Payback.
Payback.
Which is this Sunday, and we made sure this time.
Yes,
it is this Sunday.
It is this Sunday?
Okay, it is this Sunday.
We check calendars and stuff?
We check calendars this time.
You guys are not going to let me ever live that down.
Astrology? We got the zodiac signs down?
The phases of the moon are all good, and we're ready to go.
Stars are aligned.
So, we'll just start from the bottom here. We got The New Day versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, 2 out of 3 falls tag team match for the championship. I like The New Day to retain.
Which is going to be Big E and Kofi with Xavier ringside.
Yeah.
Just to clarify who's going to be...
Well, it's Freebird rules, so they get to do whoever they want.
Right.
Yeah. But I like The New Day to retain because they're starting to get on a roll with this whole heel business.
They're having fun with that.
Yeah, they're having fun with it. So I can see them retaining.
New Day is starting to wear on me.
That's the whole point.
It's starting to work for me.
Yeah,
I'm starting to really like them.
Yeah,
because
they don't work as faces. It works perfectly as heels.
Yeah, I mean, like it was kind of like a Spirit Squad in a sense, where they're just supposed to be happy and peppy and this, that, and the other, and you know what? We're not going to let you get and just
they're just jerks.
But it's
kind of like Kurt Angle.
And the other thing about this match,
yeah.
remember when Natalya was a worker and not just a piece of ass? They just kind of walked out with Cesaro and Tyson Kidd.
No.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's your answer.
Well, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah, Pepperidge Farm doesn't even remember.
To be honest, he did start watching Raw again just a few months ago. You did take a long hiatus from it.
I've been almost a year now, ever since
Well, since you
a year.
Since we discovered our brother, our long lost brother here.
Since we found the big dick. Go ahead. Take that line any way you want.
Awesome. But I like New Day to retain. Do you like New Day to retain?
I do. I don't see the thing is I see Tyson Kidd. He's a fantastic worker. Got no charisma, and unfortunately, even put him with Cesaro. No, there's guys who just can't. I mean, who can work awesome, but they don't have a personality, and I don't think he has the personality.
Well, that's kind of like Big E on his own. He can't.
Yeah. Big E's a giant toddler.
The giant toddler. But if you really watch him when he's doing the New Day gimmick, when they're all out there trying to, he's Carlton. He absolutely has no rhythm. He's trying to do the white man dance. Watch him the next time. But watch him. Like he's trying. He's trying to get the clap down, and he couldn't get the clap right. And yes, giant toddler.
It's okay. It's okay, Big E. We love you anyway. But I like the New Day to retain. Do you like the New Day retain?
I do have to point out real quick that just popped in my head. Unlike other performers, he's not as accident prone.
It's true.
Ahmed Johnson, when he came in, big guy, accident prone. Now all of a sudden I start blanking. Mark Henry.
Wade Barrett.
My God. No.
Well,
Wade Barrett's made of glass.
He's made of glass. He's not accident prone.
No, but you're saying a lot of these guys come in that they're just so big. And Ryback,
Luger was a klutz too sometimes.
Yeah. Ryback gets hurt. Yeah,
and he gets hurt a lot.
Well, that much muscle, you start to put it on you, it starts to wear on you.
Even Lesnar, when he first came in, he was a bit bumbling. Kurt Angle was that way, but I have to give him credit as to he was one of the quickest learners I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, within a 6-month period, he got it.
Yeah.
And he was one of the greatest workers. It was like The Rock, too, when he was coming out as... What was his first gimmick?
Rocky Maivia.
When he was coming out as that.
The blue chipper.
And they just... It wasn't working. He even tried to do the island gimmick for a little while.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
No. once he discovered that character, The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you find your gimmick, and it's like with the New Day, I think this is their gimmick. Stardust.
It was just a few weeks
Cody.
ago. Yeah.
When he finally found that character, it already.
And it's just a few weeks ago we were saying, man, New Day does suck.
Yeah.
And
they need to find themselves.
And now, they work fantastic as heels.
Yeah.
It's a matter, honestly, like Dante said, it's a matter of finding the thing that works for you. And unfortunately, Tyson Kidd is still in that area where he hasn't found what really works for him.
Well, plus Tyson and Kidd and Cesaro, they don't even have they have tag team moves. They work great together. They really do. But they're still coming out to Cesaro's music.
Yeah.
They don't even have a different music, right? There's right now they're still just Kidd and Cesaro.
Which I hate when they just take two
It works though. They're a great team.
Then give them a name.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That if you really want to aggravate a true tag team, is just take two random guys and throw them together.
Yeah. Call them a tag team. I mean,
and when you've got real true tag teams already out there wanting to work.
Yeah. But we'll go ahead and move on. We got Ziggler against Sheamus. It's just a standard match.
Again?
Yeah, I think this ought to finish it. I'm going to go with Ziggler.
Ziggler, take it this time.
So
Ziggler won last pay-per-view, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
What's the next big one after this?
Right, well, there's one right after this, the Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a week after this one.
Yep.
And they're doing it purely online.
So would you say this is more like the In the House?
No, because the Elimination Chamber is only going to have a couple matches because of this one. Okay, but they're going to have the Elimination Chamber. They're going to do like a Elimination Chamber for the IC title.
Well, yeah,
which should be pretty cool.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, but we'll get into that.
I also heard there's going to be an Elimination Chamber for the tag team titles too.
Yeah, which should be
nuts.
Yeah.
So wait, but again, it's like we haven't even decided this. So I really hate when promoters do that.
Well, we'll get to the Elimination Chamber next podcast.
All right, well,
let's push the next show before we even do the first show.
Ziggler, Sheamus.
I like Ziggler to go over.
Is it like the battle of like the weird look now? Because
Ziggler has eyeliner.
He's got guy liner.
He had guy liner on last night.
It's weird. Yeah. Look, and I'd like to say I don't have a problem with men wearing eyeliner. You do you, okay? It's all good, but it looks weird on him. He doesn't need it.
They were. I don't even know what kind of look they were trying to give him last night. It was almost like an '80s glam rocker look. It with he had the torn
the
denim
jacket
with
the patches.
It was like something that you can pull out of my closet right now.
Well, I mean, like if you look at his gear, it's always been like almost '80s glam because his words have like zebra print or
but that's fine. But I think the eyeliner just seemed over the top.
Yeah, last night pushed it.
Yeah, they're changing it to the point where it's a little over the top.
Well, you could just say I'm a wrestler, and most people, oh, okay, and just walk away and not even think about it. Yeah.
Anyway, so we have we'll hold off on the championship match. John Cena versus Rusev in the I Quit match. I like Rusev to go over because I say Rusev threatens Lana in the middle of the match and forces him to quit.
Pull the old Randy Macho Man use Miss Elizabeth angle.
Yep. I'm telling you, that's how it goes down because Rusev, he does need Lana, okay? But if he gets the championship, he might be able to float for a while without her.
Or he could turn him into a Heyman guy.
Could do that too.
That's a thought. And this would also, because they're kind of hinting at this angle lately about Lana liking the attention that she's been getting from another wrestler, Fandango. So if this does bring this to the head where he does use her for the match, where Cena has to, give up or whatever, which I kind of can't see Super Cena doing anyway. Or if he does, he'll get Rusev back another way after that match. But
I like Rusev to go over. That's just as me.
I'm going to go with Cena on this one because I'm trying to look in the long term. And if you give it back to Rusev, you can float it for a while. But what do you do with Cena?
Cena needs to take a vacation.
He's not going to. That's what I'm saying. What are you going to do with him now?
Well, I'm saying I bet you seeing John Cena takes a vacation. Because he's been going straight for, a year and a half now?
Longer than that.
Yeah, it's time for a vacation. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it.
No, I'm saying I could see if Cena loses, they'll throw him in that Elimination Chamber match.
For the IC title?
Yep.
They wouldn't put the IC title back on him. I mean...
Why not? What they're trying to do...
Again,
they're trying to legitimize everything, but...
He's one of these guys that really doesn't even need a title, but they just keep putting it on him every single time. If they could put him in a tag team, they make him... Which he has.
Yeah.
He's had every title.
Yeah, he's held every single one.
And he doesn't need it.
I don't know if he's held the Intercontinental title. To be quite honest with you, I don't think he's ever held the Intercontinental. I don't think he's a Grand Slam champion. I don't.
But I like Rusev. You guys like Cena. So, the dark match...
I don't like Cena. I'm just saying, Super Cena.
You don't bet against Superman.
We have Axelmania.
I will pull on his cape all I want, damn it.
We have Axelmania and Macho Mandow.
Yes.
Versus the Ascension in a tag team match in the pre-show. I, unfortunately, see the Ascension going over.
Macho Mandow.
Oh, my God.
I lost my shit.
Thing.
Now, here's the thing. Do we say that Ascension is more like Demolition or Ascension is more like Road Warriors?
Well, we'll get into that because there was something actually said about gimmick infringement last night.
We'll get to that in just a second. But I like the Ascension to go over.
I say Ascension does go over, but Sandow and Axel get their heat back, and you'll see the elbow at the very end of whatever they do.
So finally, we have the championship match. Only 6 matches on the card so far, and no Divas title match, which they might set up for Thursday on SmackDown. We'll have to watch.
Right. Right. They might also.
Well, they might bring Paige back.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. But so the final match is a fatal 4-way for the champ. You got Rollins, you got Reigns, you got Orton, and you have Ambrose. Okay. If Rollins fails to retain the championship, Kane is fired from being director of operations. If that's true, I think
he's going to come back out. I'm hoping either Monday night.
No. I'm trying to decide who's going to go over.
I think Ambrose.
I would love Ambrose to go over.
Ambrose should go over.
Rollins. The stipulation is meaningless. Rollins goes over. He'll find a way to go over, and Kane will just turn on him, just be like, "I quit anyway," and just chokeslam him.
Yeah, so I could see that, and then Monday night come out with the mask and old Kane.
Yeah.
But having Ambrose as champion, even if it's only for like a couple weeks.
Oh, but I could see that. Make him the champion, turn Kane back into the Kane that we all want, and him just torture him for weeks on end until like the next pay-per-view where they just finally just let Kane out of.
Yeah.
And have like J&J security try to stop it or get invited. It'll be like a 3-on-1 match, or I could see something like that happening.
The part that's kind of bothering me about this match is I've been listening to the commentary about every time they talk about this for the setup, and they don't mention that it's all 3 members of the Shield in this match. They like purposely have not talked about it, which is weird. Because they, you figured they'd be like, oh, they know each other so well, and Randy Orton,
It was mentioned at the end last night.
Was it?
Yes, JBL said something, but we haven't even talked about last week's yet, so that's why I've been kind
of.
But
I think it'd be cool if Ambrose went over. I don't think he's gonna go over, and I hope that God they don't give it back to Randy Orton.
You want to see another Randy Orton title reign?
No one wants to see that. Okay. But, by the way, we do have the windows open here, so if you hear a breeze, it's fine. Okay?
We're all blowing on the mic.
Okay. But that's Payback. So we'll move on.
We didn't even talk about Barrett and Neville.
We didn't?
No.
I thought we did.
No.
Oh, we just skipped right over.
Yeah, you said you wanted to go back to that.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, let's go back.
Okay.
Barrett and Neville. I like Neville to go over.
Barrett.
Barrett's already gone over twice. And then Neville beat... excuse me. Because Barrett beat him in the King of the Ring, and then Barrett beat him on Raw. Mm-hmm. I think Neville goes over at Payback.
No.
Barrett is... you got King Barrett now. You don't put... you want to build him up to be something. You don't want to just be like, okay, well, you're King of the Ring now. Well, guess what? You lost to somebody who's a rookie.
Yeah.
It'll look bad. It'll look bad. So what you do is you give him a good fight, and fucking have Barrett go over cheap.
Yeah, but I'm tired of having Neville having good fights. You know, give him a little bit of a push.
But that's the
Why?
whole idea behind heel and babyface.
Yeah.
The babyface just keeps fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, and the more that builds up, that's why people love Ziggler so much.
Yeah.
Because he is the ultimate babyface. He fights, and no matter how many times he's knocked back down, he still comes back and gives it everything he's got, and that's what Neville's going to do, and they're going to drag it out a little bit.
Like Tommy Dreamer in ECW.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to see him always beat Raven. And he almost get out. No! He missed it this time.
Well, finally, at the last match that they did, he finally did go over from them.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
even if I remember correctly, Tommy Dreamer said he didn't want to.
He never wanted to go over on Raven. He always wanted to have everybody be behind him and just, Yeah. He always
came
this close. And you know what? The Neville, I think Neville... What? Everything cool?
Yep, we're good.
We're good?
Continue.
All right.
That went's a little strong.
That's all right.
Our
We're good.
video just kind of went to
It's all right. It
blank
tapped
there.
the cord. We're good.
Good.
Proceed.
Okay.
Things are happening. Just, in the important $1 million studio that we have.
In no way is that true.
It is. It is. We have $1 million of equipment in here.
Well, let's go back to
Don't say that. I don't need people knocking on my door. What the hell, man?
So let's go back to 2 weeks ago, real quick, for the May 4th Raw. It opened up with a Randy Orton promo. Which
Jesus Christ.
Well, it actually wasn't that bad. Because, we had our timekeeper over here taking copious notes.
Thank you.
Very thorough.
Yeah.
It only lasted for about 7 minutes.
And let me guess, you said like 3 sentences?
Let's face it, we don't remember the entire promo, but I do remember him saying it wasn't his problem, like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not my problem.
It's not my problem. It's not my problem. I'm like, I don't think it's this problem.
It's not Randy's problem.
I
don't even know what the problem was at this point. That's how much I was interested.
Yeah.
He's so talented. How could you be so talented and so boring? He's just,
it's very easy. Look at Tyson Kidd.
You could be very technically sound.
But here's the thing, Randy Orton has a personality. It's just
apparently not
boring.
No. Well, there's times where you can see when Randy doesn't have to be the Viper.
Yeah.
And he can let loose a little, kind of like he has been lately. He hasn't really been that long, drawn out Randy. That's why we had
only 7 minutes back.
Had a 7-minute instead of a 17-minute.
Yeah. New Day Sucks came out. I'm just gonna call him New Day Sucks. Because that chant just won't go away. Well, that's their heel heat.
It's kind of like the what?
That's their heat. Yeah. That's their heat.
Fuck you, Austin. Ruin promos from here on till eternity.
What?
Yeah.
We have New Day versus Randy and Reigns. New Day did go over, but I'm pretty sure they didn't go over clean, right? Or Reigns hit Randy with a spear. That's it.
Yes, he missed,
right.
and that was actually that was done very well.
Yeah,
that move.
It wasn't a bad match. It was okay.
Yes.
But then, let's talk about something that I wanted to talk about. I don't like Seth Rollins, and not the character. I don't think Seth Rollins is just... I don't think he's very interesting as a champion.
He's a young Randy Orton.
I mean, he's just not interesting. Like, he just whines.
Well, see, that's what they also did, but they did that with Randy before Randy took his little 4-month vacation.
Yeah.
He was the big whiny baby. Now they have Seth Rollins doing the whole whiny baby thing. Mm-hmm. Reigns, he's very talented, but I think he's kind of stuck where Dwayne was when he first came in. He didn't really know the character until he became The Rock.
That's the thing. I mean, he needs to... Roman Reigns needs to lose the vest. Because he's a good-looking guy. There's no reason for him to wear a goddamn vest.
But that's the whole thing. Right now, they're not sure... They're trying to push him, but they're not giving him his own individuality, and that's what's missing. He's still from the Shield, and they still bring up the Shield, and it is. If he was able to, kind of like what they did with the Usos, they let them do their island thing a little bit along with the gangster thing, because that's always been the Samoan trademark there.
And we ask an interesting question, because I don't really care for Rollins as champion. I don't think it works.
I have to go with JR's assessment about Rollins, which is appears as a beatable champion, which is great. because you could put him against anybody, and people will buy into the fact that, hell, even Heath Slater might be able to beat Seth Rollins. You know, if done correctly. So, I mean,
that's
put it Fandango against Seth Rollins, people buy into it like, it might happen, you know?
I get, like, he's got legitimate heel heat, like, he's decent on the mic, you know, it's just, he's unremarkable to me. And I always figured, be it heel or be it face, the guy you want as champion, you want him to be remarkable in a certain sense. Even Brock Lesnar was remarkable. He may not have had any mic skills whatsoever, but he was a beast.
Yeah.
He was remarkable.
Thank everybody else who was taking a beating from him.
Yeah, exactly. Seth Rollins is very unremarkable. Like, when Seth Rollins drops the title to whoever he's going to drop it to, no one's going to remember the reign of Seth Rollins. Sorry.
It is kind of true. Yeah.
I mean, they'll remember Brock Lesnar. No one's going to remember Seth Rollins. Sorry. I mean,
well, which leads to the question I posed to you during the show, which was...
I mean, I thought Brock Lesnar made a very good champion. Unfortunately, he was part-time. Okay? If you could get somebody like Brock Lesnar full-time...
Well, that wasn't the question. The question was, what was it? What kind of champion would you like to see in the WWE? Not a name per se, but the style or a character.
Okay.
Well, hold on to that thought because I want to address what you just said.
Yeah.
Okay.
You talked about Brock Lesnar only being part-time.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a true statement. A lot of guys were very upset by that.
Yeah.
However, Heyman brought up a good fact. When the champion is there, it is a draw. He is now an attraction. You know, he'll show up, every month you were wrestling for the title. Now, every 3 months you wrestle for the title, and now people pay attention.
It's like Bruno Sammartino being at the Garden. Oh, there's an attraction.
I get it.
It's
I mean,
Bruno. I'm not saying he's the same caliber in any way, shape, or form as
but it's
the
the same
great
idea.
Bruno Sammartino.
No, I get it. Look, I get the draw. I mean, but I would like a champion. I would like a believable champion. Because, like you said, it works both ways, though, with JR. Yeah, you can believe anybody can beat him, but for a heel champion, I want somebody who can believably beat anybody, right? I want a heel champion who is a mountain to climb. That's the point of a heel champion. Not to be a whiny little bitch. Sorry. I think, to me, a heel champion is, I am the mountain to climb. Beat me if you fucking can.
You have somebody who doesn't need to...
Like Taz. Taz, in my opinion, made a great champion. Because he'd take on anybody, and he'd... What? What are you laughing about?
So he almost killed... What's his name during the... with the...
Tajiri,
yeah. Oh, my God.
Go wide. Fucking damn near sliced his fucking jugular.
I was watching that match, man, and all of a sudden, when you saw the spray hit him, you're like, oh, no wonder they just went widescreen. That was rough.
But I like Taz. I like Taz as a champion. I thought he is that idea of this bad son of a bitch who you probably can't beat.
Austin.
Well, Austin was... Yeah, you can beat Austin. Austin was beatable. Okay? Austin was just a badass, right? Taz was like a fucking weapon. Okay? Okay.
It's a little shit brick house.
Yeah, little brick shit house running around, just toss, and you ain't gonna... There's nothing you can do about it. Okay? To me, that's a heel champion. A face champion should be believably beatable. But that's the whole point of a face, to overcome.
Like, oh, you almost got it with the...
Yeah.
Well, you're looking at it like... This is more of an old school tactic, That's right. For some reason, even though you could put up anybody against him, and I think this guy could beat him, somehow he always manages it out and pisses the crowd off.
No, so, the heat is legit. I understand it. I just don't like it. I don't care for it because I think Seth Rollins is very unremarkable. Like I said, when he drops the title to whoever he's going to drop to, no one's going to care or remember Seth Rollins' reign.
He's got feelings.
Look, am I wrong?
I'm just saying, you're going out of your way to kick a man while he's down.
No, look, it's not that the man can't work. I don't think he's very unique. Sorry.
He's got his gun spot.
But anyway,
okay.
we'll move on because we don't want an hour-long show here.
Which interview did I take the nap during?
You took a nap during... Hold on.
The
Ryback interview.
See, which leads me to my rant.
Well, okay. So, that's also a counter argument, right?
I'm kind of hypocritical in this. I am.
So,
I'm putting it out there that I'm going to sound like a complete hypocrite.
During the Ryback interview, the crowd starts chant boring. Mm-hmm. Okay? And we're going to have a nice little discussion about this, but I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
I have a big issue when the fans... I mean, it was one thing during the interview, okay? It's an interview. But when two guys are in the ring and they're having a match and they just start chanting boring during the match, that has to be the most disrespectful thing a fan could do. Mm-hmm. Because they're in there giving you their all. Mm-hmm. And they're working the program, they're telling you a story, and for you to start saying boring because the action isn't quick enough for your taste, well, this isn't, where it's spot anymore. Yeah. People are actually going back to the old school ways where they're taking a little bit more time. And if you were to start chanting that at any indie show where an old school worker's there...
Yeah, that's messed up.
Be prepared that they're just going to say, oh, yeah, okay.
You're bored now? We're going to go to a headlock for 8 minutes.
Yep. Now this is boring. Okay, you like that?
I thought that's what you wanted. You guys kept chanting boring, so I tried to bore you to tears.
It sounds like the neighborhood's falling apart outside.
Maybe a bear's outside.
But that really bothers me because, workers put their body on the line. They do a lot of hours of training. They're doing the best they can.
Sure.
Sometimes with who they're stuck working. I mean, man, there's a lot of shit that should not be in the ring, but you're only as good as the person you work.
True.
And if you can make shit look good, then you did your job correctly.
Now, here's the thing, okay? When it comes to boring, I fully... Number one, let me say this first. I agree with you. I think it's exceptionally disrespectful to chant that, okay? However, like if I went to go see a comedy show... Okay? I am part of the audience, right? But that audience is expected to shut the hell up. That's expected. You're supposed to sit there and look and watch. The WWE wrestling is not like that. You are encouraged to participate, basically, in the only way you can help.
I mean, they want them, but
you have to take the good with the bad. You can't just have, you can't just have, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows.
I'm just saying there's just a certain... It's kind of like the word fake. That still gets a lot of guys. Yeah. We understand how it really works, but the word fake. Mm-hmm. You can say scripted, you can say choreographed, but never say the word fake because it's going to get you hurt really quick. Oh, you want to see how fake it is? Next thing you know, you're on your back going, I can't breathe. Because that's how fake it is.
Yeah. My take on this is... I'm one of those people who find it disrespectful.
Yeah.
However, the people are paying money for this, and if they're bored, because let's face it, okay, watching a Ryback match is fucking boring.
Yes.
Okay, and if I'm paying money for this, and that's what they're putting on, let's say Ryback versus Curtis Axel, I'm gonna be fucking bored. And you know what? They should hear it. Change it up. Give me something better. I'm a paying customer.
It's time to go take a piss.
Yeah.
Or go to concession if you're bored.
No, I paid good money to watch a show, and you're boring me to tears.
That's the difference between a wrestling show and any other show you go to. You would never, ever... If you do hear that at, like, a Broadway show, number one, that guy's getting thrown out.
You don't stand up at Broadway and go,
boo!
Boring! That doesn't happen. Okay?
I don't believe you died!
Yeah, it's not very believable. Yeah,
look, when I used to do a lot of dead shows and, go around and stuff, and there was one particular song that we called the bathroom song, and that was Addicts of Our Life. And everybody would go to the bathroom. It's kind of late, unfortunately, the ladies' match. What do we always do when we're home? Let's be honest. Oh, ladies' match. All right. Anybody got to go to the bathroom, go grab some coffee, snacks, what? That's what you do if you find it boring. You get up and you don't be disrespectful and tell the person that's trying to do the best job that they can for you that they're, let them get reamed in the back.
Well, here's the thing. At any sporting event, you do that. I mean, let's say your basketball team is the shits. You don't just go, you'll get them next time. You boo the fuck out of them. Get the hell off my fucking stage.
How many times have I booed the New York Giants?
A lot.
Okay? lot.
Because of Eli.
No, he's a two-time Super Bowl champion, but I boo my Giants a lot. Okay?
I'm a full proponent of, the boring chant is a huge disrespect. It's a slap in the face. However, there has to be a give and take with that because people are paying money and they're going to get bored to tears when you put on shit like Curtis Axel and Ryback, two guys who have no personality. Axelmania is coming along, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
again back to he found his thing.
People love Axelmania.
He found what makes him. It was kind of like woo woo woo.
Yeah. It's sometimes it's the weirdest shit. You never know what's going to work.
Johnny Swinger in the clap.
Exactly. We'll go ahead. We had Cesaro and Kid versus the Ascension.
Yeah. Well, that's still. I think people
cool.
are forgot.
That's cool.
We got Seth whines about the match. I mean, that's par for the course. Ambrose versus Rollins. This is when Ambrose won to get into the 4-way match, and it lasted a solid 20 minutes, bell to bell.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very good match.
That was a clinic. That's what you would say was a clinic.
That was a very good match, entertaining from bell to bell.
Yep.
Okay. And before we get a little too far here, I want to talk about something, because you talked about the boring chant. I'd like to talk about "This is awesome" chant. Okay.
This is awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Because when that chant first started, because I actually remember when that chant started catching on a lot. Awesome was the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian in the first ever TLC match.
Killing themselves.
And damn near killing themselves and getting put through triple stack tables, okay? That is awesome. Terrible for their bodies, but awesome that they be willing to do that for me to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Like I said, Ambrose and Rollins was a fantastic match, but I don't think it deserved a "This is awesome" chant. Okay, the bar for awesome has dropped a lot, I think. Okay,
yeah, we're not in the extreme era anymore.
No, and that's okay, but like I said, fantastic match. I enjoyed it, and there was pops, and there should have been pops. Okay, but "This is awesome." No, well, sorry. I mean, it's fantastic match, but I don't think it deserves a "This is awesome" chant. When someone gets put through the announcer table, no, that's not awesome. Okay. Maybe because I just grew up during the Attitude Era, but
there's a bullet point that we're going to get hit eventually a little bit later, but it seems that anybody who does a suicide dive these days,
they're awesome.
They're awesome.
And speaking of suicide dives,
well, we can mention it now
because
in this show,
almost every match.
In last week's show, yes, we counted. It was almost the suicide dive was done in almost every match.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing that we're taught in the indies is, one, we should have monitors in the back and watch each other's matches so we're not out there doing the same moves.
Yeah.
So we don't, bore the crowd. Yeah. If they see the same match over and over, by the time the show is near the end, you've already lost half your crowd out the door.
Now, that's true, but at the same time, every single crowd that we've seen, why do they keep doing the suicide dives? Because the crowd eats that shit up.
Yeah.
Okay, they love it. So why would you stop?
Yeah, no, you got a point. But
it's kind of like AC/DC. Stick with what works.
If you're going to do a suicide dive as multiple times as they
just do it.
If you're going to do a suicide dive as multiple times as they do in the show, mix it up. Everybody seems to go the forward missile right through the top and middle rope. Why not go over the top rope with this, or do a house show?
You got to have some serious ups.
Well,
not even. You could do you do the pull up pescado or whatever they call it. Some people call it the house show, where you grab the top rope and you just kind of throw yourself over.
Okay.
I believe Neville actually went over the top rope.
But that's Neville, though.
Neville's on a whole level.
Yeah, he's on a he gets some ups.
Okay, we already got that. We covered everything.
So let's go ahead. We'll warp ahead 1 week to yesterday. That's right. Warp ahead 1 week to yesterday. You think about that for a sec.
Blow my mind.
I'm blowing your mind right now. Triple H is back, guys. Triple H is back,
and they all rejoice. Yay!
Look, I don't have anything against the man himself. I mean, he did great things, and
well, he did things.
Look, no, DX that was awesome. he's
that
got
changed
a
the
great
face of the game.
look. He's got a great sense of humor, especially when he was doing his interview last night in the ring.
He's got a good sense of humor.
He really knows how to.
He can work a mic like no other.
He can work a mic, sure. Can I sit there and say can I give a Triple H match that I can give to a young student and say you should watch this because it's awesome? I can't tell you a memorable Triple H match. Maybe the one where he wrestled Foley on a cage. That's about it. I can't outrightly go, this guy, here's a clinic you need to watch. He's a good wrestler, great on the mic. As far as doing great things for this business,
Well, he probably hates to hear, he's no Shawn Michaels. Okay? And I know that hurts him in the heart meets, okay, but
he's got some feels.
Yeah, but
he'll always be Riker to Michael's Picard.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's you're always gonna, he's no Shawn Michaels. He's just not. But Shawn Michaels comes once in a generation.
When he was addressing J&J about what they had to do, and he's like, Wait, maybe you can't hear me all the way up here. Let me come down to your level. And you could see the one guy was just trying
to
couldn't
hold it
look
together.
at him. Couldn't, because when he was telling Triple H what he was saying, I believe that was Jamie Noble saying that.
Yeah,
right.
The one with the beard.
He couldn't even look him in the eye.
No.
He's looking at him straight in the chest as he's addressing what he's... Because you knew if he looked up at it, he would lose it. So he's sitting there, let me come down to your level and telling he's right in his face, and he couldn't look at him, and you could see that little smile coming through. And
I begged them not to bring out Rollins, and
a minute later,
literally 1 minute later, they did. So this is where we found out that if Rollins loses at the Fatal 4-Way, Kane is no longer the chief of operations.
Yay!
Bring back the mask, baby. I'm all for it.
He needs one more run.
And like you talked about earlier in the podcast about how, if Seth does go over, have Kane just absolutely eviscerate him at the end of the match and then come out Monday night. Or take a week off because he'll get fired Monday night. Let him leave. Let him be barred from the building. And then the next
come back
week,
as the demon.
and he comes back.
Just stop with the Fred Mertz.
Yeah,
Did you notice he was limping down he looked like he was limping last night a little bit.
I mean...
nobody was rolling him down.
Yeah. He needs his trolley.
He needs his friggin' hand truck.
Yeah, but we're not kidding. I'm pretty sure
they roll him around, man.
They roll him around. He's probably strapped to that thing, and they kind of run, and toss him out, and it's just the forward momentum that brings him down the ramp.
They thought, now, yesterday they were in Cincinnati, okay? Which is, for those that don't know, Dean Ambrose's hometown, okay? Now, if I was booking, I would not have Ambrose in the very first match, okay? But that's exactly what they did, and they put him in a match with J&J Security. That's shitty booking.
No.
Okay.
It is kind of shitty booking, but it also sets up for what happens later on, which we had.
But that was going to happen anyway.
You have him work J&J Security because it's a light match for him. If he's definitely going to be used, that's when you know somebody's going to be used later on.
Yeah.
That's a dead giveaway.
But it just seems, here's the hometown boy in his first match, and okay. And then you don't see him for the rest of the night.
Right, yeah.
It's very foolish to me to do that. Okay, you want to keep the crowd interested. You want to keep them on their toes to,
Although Cena did put him over, and Daniel Bryan put him over.
Well, we had Barrett and Ziggler, too. That was about a 10-minute match.
Stiff?
Stiff.
No, that was when Sheamus came out.
Yeah, Sheamus was stiff with Ziggler.
Well, see,
Sheamus was out doing commentary.
Sheamus, he's been working snug as a motherfucker lately. Some of those hits, man, I'm pretty sure they're going to be snug and fucking tight.
Well, we're going to find out this Sunday.
But a lot of those Europe guys do that. I mean, if you watch Barrett, if you watch any of those European guys work together, Barrett and Neville are stiff.
Barrett and Neville, you ever watch Barrett and Sheamus? They beat the shit out of each other.
Well, that's also English and Irish at each other.
I also have Sheamus and Cesaro. I've seen them fucking snug the shit out of each other.
It's the European way. They really are a little bit more the San Martino way than the Puss Cakes way that a lot of the guys are now.
let us rejoice, for Harper and Rowan are now back together.
Yay.
Let us rejoice.
Let's just think about that for a second.
They should have never split them up.
I don't know why they
first
split them up.
place.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's fantastic. They annihilated Fandango in 37 seconds.
Oh.
Which the commentators were keeping time and taking bets. LBJ and Booker T bet on time. Booker won.
LBJ?
JBL.
Sorry,
LBJ?
did I write that down? I'm sorry, my dyslexia got in the way. I apologize.
Wait
Johnson.
Wait a minute.
Wait. He'll read anything you put on the monitor. Anything. Anything.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Ron, I gotta fire you.
I gotta fire you. Boop, boop, boop.
Great Odin's beard!
Anyway.
Ron, I gotta fire you.
Yeah, you're fired too now. Boop, boop, boop. Anyway.
This is why we don't do this at 10 o'clock at night.
Boop, boop, boop.
John Cena versus Neville. That was probably the best match of the night.
It was a good match.
Neville, come on.
I'm sorry.
Are all the Anchorman lines going through your
Yes!
head now? Yes, so you pirate hooker.
Boop, boop, boop. Oh, man. All right, I'm good.
All right. John Cena addresses the crowd.
You're not good. You're still good.
You're not good. You're not good. God damn it.
Sorry.
It was like him on the whole, Donkey Kong and Harry Potter.
I gotta fire you. Boop, boop, boop.
You're fired, Ed.
Just got you in the silly bone.
He's got it.
I don't know why it's so fucking funny to me right now.
Are you fired?
Probably. Boop, boop, boop.
Have you been touching a bit of the spirits there, brother?
Kerm's fucking lost it.
Oh,
But like I
by
said-
the way, still no feet of cancer.
No feet of cancer.
No cancer feet tonight.
No.
Like
Still
I said,
part of the team.
I'm good.
Neville versus John Cena was a great match. It lasted longer than that. Probably about 10 minutes or so. Maybe about 15.
He actually did a very interesting suicide bomb.
Yeah, he did that corkscrew.
Yup.
That was really good. And he sounded like he hit Cena hard.
I was told he hit it on spot. That's
was perfect?
exactly how he was supposed to
Okay.
hit that.
All right.
Yep.
Because it sounded hard. I'm like, ooh, it sounded like he knocked Cena's wind out. That's
The
what
way
it
he
sounded like.
hit him, it looked like the small of his back
Yeah.
hit Cena full on in the face.
Yeah.
And apparently that was the perfect way for that
Okay.
spot to be done.
But like I said, it
did
was
not know.
fantastic.
I thought he got hurt.
Neville, it was a falsie, but Neville hit Red Arrow and was about to go over, and then Rusev interfered.
Yes.
They kept them both strong.
Yes.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's smart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good booking.
See, they can do it. They can do.
It
good
depends
booking.
on who's
They can
taking
do
care
it.
of what talent and because each guy has a different agent.
Yeah.
Like,
The business-
Dusty takes care of some guys, and other guys take other guys. And
The booking took a downward turn when Vince stopped hiring people who knew wrestling and started hiring people for
soap opera writers.
soap opera writers and stuff like that.
For real.
People who don't know how to write a wrestling match. They just...
That's unfortunate. But we had Kane versus Reigns. Roman Reigns won.
Moving on.
We had Brie versus Tamina.
That was a good one because Reigns actually speared Kane over the commentary table
Well, that's
and
right.
knocked him
The
out.
match never started. The
They
match
didn't
never
even
started.
get in the ring.
Yeah, Kane attacked him outside the ring, and it never started. And then Reigns speared him over the commentary table, and that was
Good.
it.
It was good.
It was solid.
Oh yeah.
Brie versus Tamina, that was ugly.
Somebody was obviously.
I couldn't tell who was off. Yeah.
I would say maybe some of it is a little bit of Tamina, a little bit of ring rust. But the Bellas are never solid workers to begin with, and that's not being
They've gotten
mean.
better. They've gotten
They
better.
have, but
Yeah.
there's still.
Yeah.
There's times where they're absolutely sloppy, and last night's match was sloppy.
Yeah.
They should have kept them heel. I mean, it worked because, the people were buying into it, and then all of a sudden, we don't talk about the Brie and Nikki's situation anymore.
Oh, yeah, let's cover that over.
Yeah, that never happened. right?
Well, Kane
that's not the first
Kane
angle.
was a rapist, and
And Mae Young gave birth to a hand.
Yeah, so there's...
But the hand's all grown up.
Yeah.
We saw it.
Undertaker was a kidnapper. And
Big Boss Man took Big Show's father's casket for a ride.
You're a big nasty bastard. And your mother said so.
That was one of the funniest things I ever saw in wrestling. Ever.
With him
riding it and going, no! And then he falls off. I never laughed so hard at a goddamn wrestling show in my life. Why can't we go back to that?
Everything's got to be PC now.
God damn it.
And Linda's...
You're a big nasty bastard. And your mama just said he was so excited. I kind of miss Boss Man. But, Axelmania versus Macho Man Down.
That all started with a backstage interview with Axel doing his imitation of Hulk Hogan. It was Sandow. I'm sorry. Sandow was having his interview, and Axel came in doing Macho Man, going, doing Hogan
yeah.
and going, you're always a mimic, you can't do anything on your own, and then all of a sudden, Macho Man came out, and holy shit.
Perfect.
Oh my god.
Perfect. The mannerisms, there was so much method acting. Like, the pinkies going around and shit.
Even the little flick of the fingers through every word that he said. It was like, the way he worked the ropes, the way he... the way the match ended.
Yeah, the power handshake. Yeah.
Somewhere Jay Lethal's crying. Jay Lethal, Black Machismo. He did it. He's another one that could mimic Macho Man really.
He was awesome when they were doing that whole thing over there in TNA. When they actually were doing something at TNA.
But let's take a moment and
talk about a sad subject.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Daniel Bryan. And he relinquished the IC title last night, which was right of him. Mm-hmm. But I think we all can agree we're probably never going to see him in a ring again.
I disagree.
I don't know. From my experience of watching how he addressed the crowd, it was almost like watching Edge again. And the way he put the belt down and then said thank you to everyone. You usually don't say thank you if you're not done.
But here's the thing, like, when you're done, you say you're done. And he didn't.
He did. He said, they don't even know if I'm ever going to be able to come back. And then there was, like, this... He was actually pausing before he said that last bit. It was like he almost could not say, I'm probably not coming back.
You will see him one more time. And that will be to either wrestle again, or for him to say, I can't do this anymore. And then he'll say his goodbye. Right now, it's the preliminary to what could happen.
You know what the saddest part about this is? This is an ongoing pattern with anybody who has deserved a title match. I mean, look at CM Punk. Okay? Perfect example. The guy deserved it. Worked his ass off for it. And they killed him physically to keep that title. Oh, you're going to work these 4 guys this night. You're going to work you're going to work the whole crew tonight. And defend that title. And they did the same thing to Bryan. Mm. Worked them into the bone. Any time Ziggler gets the belt, he's in at least 2 matches a night. Mm-hmm. If you like them, and the fans really like them, it's a curse to that wrestler. Any wrestler who has been pushed by the fans seems to be punished by the uppers of the WWE, because it's kind of like, don't you dare tell us what we should do with who. I mean, they make Cena work hurt. Yeah. And that, I mean, as much as some people don't like Cena because he just does the 5 moves, because that's all he really is allowed to do.
And that's what I keep trying to tell people.
He's got so much PR that he can't be injured.
That's what I keep trying to tell people. It's not that he can't wrestle. Okay, yeah, maybe he runs the ropes wrong, like you say. Okay.
Don't drag your feet.
But don't drag your feet and everything like that. But he can wrestle. No, he can wrestle.
He can. When you get to that level where you are the face of the company,
you got to be able.
You have to pump your brakes. You can't go full force like guys do on the indies. Yeah. They can't do that. Your body ain't gonna last.
Yeah. And to bring us back to bring us back to Daniel Bryan, if you've watched since he's been back, He's been working like it's his last match, every single one. I have seen him work more snug and harder in the 4 or 5 months he's been back.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still see that deep scar that's in his head. That happened almost 2 months ago. So, I mean, he was literally throwing himself and killing himself because he knew. He knew this day was coming. He just didn't expect himself to end up here so soon. But also the way he's been working, he should have expected it. He was not really taking it easy.
Yeah.
There's some guys that come back, and you can tell by the way they bump that they're taking a little... Randy knows how to take it easy when he comes back from an
Randy's the king of taking it easy.
But when he first came in, he didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also talking about the same kid that would destroy hotel rooms, who had anger issues, and was basically told, if you don't get your shit together, you're done, and turned it all around.
You also have to keep in mind, these guys, they may look young. Like Cena looks young, and Orton looks young. They're not. They've been in the WWE for over a decade now.
And how long were they in the Indies before they even got there?
Well, Cena's one case, but Randy's got his father's golden ticket.
Okay, well, yeah, but the thing is, the other thing that Randy has that some others don't is he's got his daddy's talent. He's got the talent.
Oh yeah, no,
Randy Orton can wrestle. It's just he doesn't.
If they give Tamina the right fucking gimmick, she can be a lot more than her shit brother ever was.
You mean...
Because she is a true snooker.
You mean...
Tamina is a true snooker. She is her daddy's daughter to the core. I mean, looking at her last night, you could see so much of Jimmy in her. And she flies like her daddy, and she deserves that push.
But you'd have to push the women's division, and they're not going to do that.
I understand that, but I really think she needs a good push. They started giving her a good push, and then, what was she injured?
She got injured.
But you can see she's put on some weight, too.
Well,
but it's muscle. She's a big girl.
I don't know if it's muscle.
I'm
not saying she's fat. I'm just...
Samoans and her father's Fijian as well, they hold their weight different. And I mean, she's built more like her dad than she is her mom. I mean, her mom's tiny.
But she's not fooling anybody wearing a jacket buttoned up. Okay?
I kept thinking she was going to fall out last night. That was a little too loose up at the top there.
But unfortunately, we don't have a high spot this week. Okay? But that's okay, because we got a couple shows we need to push.
We don't have a high spot.
We are the high spot.
We are the fucking high spot.
We are the high spot in the blind tag.
Fallen Angels high spot. Here we go.
I'm going to push some shows for you.
Push.
All right, so as you've noticed, if you are on our Facebook friends page or on our podcast page and any other thing that says Fallen Angels or Superstars of Wrestling.
If you're not on our podcast page or fan page, get on it.
Well, why are you listening to this?
Yeah. Seriously. You guys are doing it wrong.
But anyway, this coming Friday, we actually have 2 shows that we're on. We went from a tremendous dry spell to like 5 shows this month.
Double shot.
Yeah, we're doing a double shot. So the first show will be in Roselle Park, New Jersey, at the Roselle Park High School. Doors open at 6:30. They will be having a autograph signing with Tito Santana before the show and during intermission. So if you want an autograph, I would say be there at 6:30, because by like 7 quarter after, he's going to have to go in the back, and that's that.
Yeah,
he's a Hall of Famer, former Intercontinental Champion. He's Tito Santana.
Somebody's autograph that you would definitely want to have.
Absolutely.
I mean, so what we will be working these new up and coming greenies. They're called the Amazing Graysons, and
they're from Gotham.
Oh, those Graysons.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be easy peasy.
We'll make a very quick work of them.
Are we gonna make sure that they have some wings before?
Yeah. Okay. And just give them wings.
We do. We need to work on them shirts, too.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Totally do.
Also, some of the Roselle Park High School alumni, the Angus brothers, will be settling out their differences in a steel cage match at that show.
Damn.
Yeah. So,
that's
once again,
differences.
I believe that tickets are $10 at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, the door opens at 6:30 and bell time is at 7:30 p.m. We should probably be going on first or second of that show. So if you want to catch us, make sure you're there at the beginning of the show to see us work. From there, we will making our way down to Spotswood, New Jersey, which is about a half hour south.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right.
About a half hour.
Yeah. And that show, its doors open, I believe, at 6:30 or 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And that is now called the Columbian Club, formerly known as, and I know I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it so people know where it is. For forever, it was known as the Knights of Columbus of Spotswood.
Yeah.
Now it's known as the Columbian Club of Spotswood, just so people don't get confused and know where the building is. Okay. On that show, we've got the franchisee, Shane Douglas. We've got the Patriot.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Tony Atlas
Nice.
as some of the big names on our show. Ourselves.
We are there. Yes.
Us Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers, that's what we are.
Yep, are going up against Riot.
Damn usurpers.
Who are pretty dirty, rotten guys themselves. They actually took out their own manager in the last show I saw.
Cold-blooded.
So I would really, hope that you keep an eye on me, because if they could do that to their own manager, I'm worried about what happened to me.
No, they're not going to get a chance. We'll make quick work of them, too.
That's for the Tag Team Championship, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
That is correct,
Yes.
yep.
You're finally getting your shot.
I've been noticing a lot of support, too, on the page.
Oh, yes.
We are.
A lot of faithful. A lot of faithful out there.
Yep. And I'm really hoping that this after all the other different matches that we've had to do to get to this point over the last year and a half for working for Superstars of Wrestling, that we worked hard enough and that we can really take these guys down and make your hometown proud.
I definitely know. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones.
Feel it in my bones.
I wish you guys had something of your alumni that you could actually wear out there, but you've all grown up such a bit that I don't think anything would
We'll
fit
have to
you.
talk to Ma.
Yeah, we talk to Ma. We had to talk to Ma. See what we got.
So that show again, that's I believe it's 7 o'clock doors open.
Yeah.
And 8 o'clock bell time.
Yeah, 8 o'clock bell time.
$12 at the door.
Is it
Or is
12?
it 20? No, I'm sorry. I think it's 20 at the door.
20 at the door.
It's 20 at the door. I misspoke. It is $20 at the door, but because of the talent that is on this show, you don't want to miss this. This could be like a historic show. Seriously. Mm-hmm. You really don't want to miss it. We will be working for ECPW. We will be doing actually one of their TV tapings on March 22nd in Paramus, New Jersey at the Elks Lodge.
Nice.
Right behind the Raymore and Flanagan's on 17 North.
All right.
Okay. I believe it's a tag team tournament of some sort, and we have been told that our first opponents would be the Angus brothers. Dem Angus brothers.
Dem Angus.
Should be a very easy match, considering the fact they're going to beat the snot out of each other in a steel cage a week later.
Before, yeah.
And we get them a week later. Absolutely, we'll tear them apart.
That's going to be easy peasy. Oh, and one of the things that we're really most excited about is that we're actually going to be doing our very first convention.
Yes.
As the Blind Tag and Fallen Angels. Mm-hmm. We will have a booth, and we will hopefully be talking to quite a few of the Hall of Famers and other superstars of wrestling that will be there. Some of the names that will be appearing at the New England Fan Fest number 5.
That's this many. I know you can't see it, but it's this
I was
many.
about to say, they can't see that.
It's on June 27th at the Rhode Island Convention Center in Providence, Rhode Island, and that's from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. It is an all-day thing, and if you go on their website, which we will link at the end of this podcast,
that is correct.
They actually have, I believe, the tickets are $100 to have a dinner with a couple of the stars. It's a big banquet that they're going to be having, so you might want to check that out. But yeah, some of the stars that are going to be there are Sabu, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Tatanka, Little Guido, Scott Hall, Bill Goldberg, Jim Ross, Alberto Del Rio, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Eric Bischoff, Jim Cornette, Men on a Mission. There's a name from the past. Gene Okerlund, and a whole lot more. And we will link that to it as well. you need to start working on your list.
My list,
there,
a list of people that I need to talk, because there's a bunch of people I would love to ask a few questions of.
Yep.
But okay, go ahead.
Well, Bobby the Brain Heenan was supposed to be there, but he's currently ailing, and we wish him well.
We wish him well.
You know, he was a big part of my growing up when I'm watching wrestling, and I wish nothing but good health for Bobby the Brain.
Also, one more thing. Be on the lookout. We are looking for Iron Mike Sharp. Please, out of the 28 some odd people that have listened to our podcast in the last couple of weeks, yes, we checked our numbers. Please, if anybody knows who we can maybe talk to or get in touch with, just send us an email or post it on the bottom of the podcast on YouTube. Also, if you have any questions or have any comments about anything that we said or would like to get involved in discussion, let us know.
Leave a comment. Like this video. Let us know. Subscribe.
Yeah,
we'd love to have you.
If you have any guests that you would like us to have on, current indie stars or past, we are kind of new to this, but we're willing to, make the fans happy.
Absolutely.
We do talk about other things other than wrestling.
As you saw last week.
We
But, if you have a question, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Give a like to this video and subscribe if you're of a mind. But I think that covers everything for this week. So, for Dante and for Krim, I'm Big Dick Gideon, and we will see you all next week.
Blind Tag!